Hello, Orange County. I'm Matt Takahashi.
And I'm Laura M. Hathaway.
And welcome to SGN OC. In this episode, we're going to do something a little different.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So, we've been watching a lot of unsolved mysteries lately and have discovered the power of the dramatic reenactment.
Ooh.
So, we will be using it to help tell our stories. But don't you fret, it'll be so seamless you won't even notice it. Unlike Matt's mustache.
What mustache? First up, if you tune in to KLIE 90.3 FM in Fountain Valley, you'll hear Radio Suerte, the first bilingual station bringing you golden hits playing jewels from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. But last Christmas, they decided to do more than just play great tunes. They also decided to give back and run a Christmas toy and food drive to help families affected by COVID-19. They passed out toys, boxes of food, and face masks to families in Garden Grove and Santa Ana. They also aren't planning to stop there, as they hope to have another food drive for unhoused populations in February. And that's music to my ears. Laura?
I don't know anyone who likes traffic. Well, no, not that traffic. I find their 60s style rock delightful. I mean, that traffic. It's the worst, right? Staring at the taillights of the cars in front of you, your mind racked with boredom, brake, then gas, brake, then gas, endlessly cycling until the madness consumes you. Well, the 91 freeway will be seeing less traffic, thanks to a new westbound lane that opened up in January. The brand spanking new lane between Corona and Anaheim Hills will help ease some of the congestion around the Riverside-Orange County border and hopefully make it easier for people to get to Orange County. So, hop on the freeway and breeze on down to Anaheim Hills. If only there was something in Anaheim Hills worth traveling to. Matt?
We here at SGNOC love good news. I mean, it's kind of our thing, but we especially love good news that has to do with theater. So we are positively giddy to share this next bit of news with you. Ooh, look how giddy I am. The La Habra Depot has once again opened its doors as a theater in Orange County. The newly named Phantom Projects Theater at La Habra Depot will stage a variety of live performances, including theater productions, a family series, bilingual performances, and a sensory-friendly production for attendees on the autism spectrum. 8 productions are scheduled for 2022, starting with a family-friendly performance of Charlotte's Web, running through February 27th. For tickets and more information about the reopening, visit thephantomprojectstheater.com. Laura?
We started this little program during lockdown in 2020. I know that was technically 2 years ago, but it kind of seems like no time has passed, right? Lockdowns, masks, social distancing, we're still navigating this whole situation. But we're all in this together, so we're going to give you some strategies in our next segment, Life After Lockdown. Though COVID is still affecting people here in Orange County, we're still able to see people, greet people, and simply be in the presence of other human beings. So how do we keep ourselves, our colleagues, and our loved ones safe? Well, resident artist Nicole Schlitt has been kind enough to show us some of her moves as she navigates this version of normal. Take it away, Nicole!
Keep that safe distance.
Hey, good to see
Ow!
Hey! Oh, good! Oh, hold on. And, grab that real quick. Okay. Oh, not quite. And perfect! So how you doing?
Oh, doing good.
Yeah?
Go.
No, it's perfect. 6 feet. We're good to go. Well, it was really good seeing you. Oh,
Yeah.
crap. I gotta go. I have
Oh,
time.
yeah, no, for sure. It's been,
I'm sure I'll see you again.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Like, I don't know. It might only be a few months this
Yeah,
time.
right? Only a little bit.
Yeah, the 10 months.
Yeah, that was a really
So,
long time.
I'll
I guess
see
I'll
you.
see you. Yeah.
See you.
Okay. See you
Bye-bye.
later. Okay, cool. Nice.
Ooh! I, for one, can't wait to use the awkward elbow tap at my next work meeting. And now, a seamless transition into a dramatic reenactment.
Wow, if you're normal, I guess I'm next to normal. Gee, I wish I could watch an interview with the cast and/or crew of a show with that title.
Ask and you shall receive. Take it away, James.
Hey, y'all.
Hey,
Hi. So much.
Hey.
Hi. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to get to talk to you about your production of this Pulitzer Prize winning musical. I mean, it's not very often that you get to work on one of those. There's a lot to love there. So I'm just going to start by asking you what you first fell in love with. So, what engaged you? What first hooked you and made you go, I have to do this show?
For me, I think the thing that hooked me at first was the music, because every song is a banger and next to normal. And it's just, you'll leave the theater humming at least one of the many songs that'll just be in your head forever. And that's what I've loved this musical for a while, and I just have loved all the music, and it's just so good.
For me, I thought it would be a challenge. It was, do I do next to normal or do I do something rotten? And although I've never seen something rotten, I did see next to normal, and I was like, oh, it would definitely be a challenge to do something so gritty, and like the subject matter is so real and honest. And I just thought it would be a challenge, and a challenge it's been, and it's been wonderful.
I was really fortunate. I got to go to New York. It was my first time in New York, of all things, back in 2010. So I got to see it on Broadway. I was struck by it because it was a family story, but about a topic that I usually see addressed in something that I think of as like a straight play, something as serious as mental illness and grief and things like that. And I was just struck with how respectful it was and how honest and authentic it was. And yet such amazing music at the same time that I could like sing all the time to in the car. So I've loved it since then.
Actually, my high school theater department's music director was like, hey, have you ever heard of this show? Like, I think some of these songs would be really good to put in your book. So that's how I first found out about the show. And he was like, you'd be a really good Natalie one day. And I was like, oh, cool. So that's how I got introduced to the show and fell in love with it. And then, it just kind of came across me one day when I saw the auditions, and I was like, oh, wait, I like the music to the show. And I remember he told me that I'd be really good in the show. So that's how I found out about it. And I've loved it. So, yeah.
What is your favorite moment or song, if you have one?
So on the album, pre-rehearsals, my favorite song was "I Am the One," and which is a song that Tim sings, and then kind of becomes other people's song as well. And I have to say, I think it's still one of my favorite songs in the show. It grooves. Like if I haven't already been tapping my toe and nodding my head during the performance, I inevitably will start at that moment.
I love performing Hey Number 3. I love like the story arc between Henry and Natalie and how they like actually get to that point in the show. That's one of my parts where, with the Perfect for You reprise, that in itself just like takes my heart and like, exactly. Backstage, I'm jamming out to Jocelyn singing Didn't I See This Movie every single time. Every single time. Never fails. Like that's my song that I jam out to.
My favorite song is definitely Perfect for You. It has been since I first listened to the album. It was the first song that I like latched onto, and oh man, I just love Henry and Natalie are my favorite parts of the show.
My favorite song I think is Song of Forgetting. I just love the melody of that song. It feels really good to me. Although it's a point in the play where, you know, it's kind of like a sad thing that we're going through as far as like Diana's memory being lost. But just the melody of the song is so sweet, and I love it.
And Jocelyn, you and Tim and Jalen and Angie, all four of you play a family unit on stage. And, you know, obviously this piece is pretty emotional and it requires a lot of vulnerability. Talk to me about what that process has been like for you. How did you go about creating that family dynamic and those relationships on stage? What has this been like?
I was gonna say, I mean, at least for me, I can say like this rehearsal process, because we started before the holidays and we had very limited rehearsals. It was like, go, 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 music, 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 music. Okay, really fast. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna, you know, do a rough blocking of this, and then we're gonna do, so it's like, it was very jump around, and it's just because that's the way the process was at the time. So I feel like we were all just kind of jumping into the piece. It's not like we got to sit down and be like, Tim, talk to me about this moment. What do you feel? There was none of that this time around with this process. So I feel like it just kind of happened organically. We just kept finding moments on stage as we were blocking, or then reblocking, or this is the fourth blocking. And we're like, oh, I think that's happening here. And just trying things. I don't know. And then by the time we got to, I don't know, a week or two ago, it's like, oh, that's what's happening there. Oh, okay. And I still feel like we're still finding things. And that's what's so lovely.
I think difficult subject matters are easier to navigate when you actually like people that you are navigating the material with. I think I could speak for all of us when I say we genuinely like each other as performers and people. So it makes digging into some of those harder scenes easier to bear and to get the message across to the audience, hopefully.
Yeah, there was that one time after tech, we were standing outside and me, Jocelyn, and Jared and Angie were talking, and we were like, oh, we were talking till like midnight, and it was like, this is the first time I think we've been able to have a discussion and like talk to each other, because the rehearsal process has been so wild.
So we get to see, when we walk in to the theater, the final beautiful product, but we all know that there are plenty of bumps along the way in the process, and I would love to know about some of those. What went wrong? What did y'all keep screwing up? You know, tell me some of the fun stories.
Well, for me, the hardest part of this whole rehearsal process was having to sing the score in masks.
Right there.
Because I feel like we're all singers, and when you're singing in a mask on, you kind of have to retrain your body and your mind how to sing. And sometimes it's like not in a good way, because you don't really have as much air to push out some of the things that you need. So I feel like you put more strain on yourself. So that was definitely hard for me. I remember going home some rehearsals like, do I still know how to sing? Like, why is this so difficult for me? Because it was just like, it was so hard, just because, you know, we had to do it because we wanted to be safe, which I appreciated. We took all precautions because, you know, times are scary, and it's a beautiful score, but it's very challenging. And I think that was one thing that was hardest for me.
I think one of the hardest things for me ongoing now still is a lot of my friends and myself consider myself a lyric snob. And then here I am in this show. I keep forgetting all of the lyrics to my song. All of them.
Oh, come on. It isn't that bad.
It's not that bad, Tim.
You had like one flub and whatever.
It's like not even noticeable.
Oh, it's really noticeable to me.
Well, you phonetically, what was amazing is you're like, that's not the right verse in this moment, but I'm going to complete the sentence in a subject matter that makes sort of sense and move on. And I don't think anybody noticed it. I don't think the audience was aware. I think you saved it.
It was awesome. Angie and I are watching. We're like, sure. Yeah, because that's where the baby was born, in the house with the red door.
It was perfect.
Keep
it
going.
was a perfect save, I thought.
And you phonetically made it match?
Yeah.
Incredible.
I tried to. Well, thank y'all. And then the other thing I don't think we can give away on this, as far as what's been the struggle, which is the movie part. You all know what I'm talking about. That's been kind of a struggle for two of our family members.
The what part? The movement?
Yeah, you know, our device that's been
There's
kind
a particularly difficult device in this show that we can't reveal because it's part of the surprise, but It's very weighty and
Yes.
sometimes
Requires some effort.
This is either an incredible tease, as we like to say in the biz, or something that everyone's going to go, I have no idea what they're talking about until they see the show. What has been the most fun or rewarding part of working on the show?
For me, it's getting to reunite with Jalen and Matt. We did Sister Act together. Matt directed. Jalen was my nemesis. So awesome to now be father and son in this show. So that was a selling point for me, was to be able to reconnect with those two. And now I met Jocelyn and Angie and Ron and Jared. It's been great.
But the last thing I did at the Chance was about a year ago, The Story of My Life. It started as it's a 2-person musical, and we started rehearsals right here on Zoom. It was this room was my rehearsal studio, and then we moved into the theater for like a week, and then we filmed it. But because it was COVID times I don't remember what's really changed other than like it was. I think it was
pre-vaccination.
It was pre-vaccines, yeah.
It might have been okay.
I think so.
So everything, like we were all masked, of course, and everything, but I was not allowed to touch, be near, or anything at the cast. Like I was extremely distanced. Like I couldn't be within 6 or 10 feet of the cast or something ever. It was a very kind of lonely or disconnected experience, for as a director to not be personal with the cast really. And this show has allowed that to sort of come back. And so, aside from the fact that, these are all wonderful people that I would have loved to have worked with regardless, that has made it extra special.
So a chance encounter is a fortuitous accident. So what unexpected experience have you had while working on Next to Normal that you think is going to have a lasting impact on you?
I was just going to say, for me, I think I had never in a million years thought that Next to Normal was on my wheelhouse of shows to ever do. And so I thank the chance for me to portray Dan in this production. It also showed me some parallels to me and Dan. And hopefully a lot of the messages that are hidden gems in these lyrics. There's so many great lyrics in this show. And I think a lot of them are going to propel me forward in my life and helping me figure out some things about Tim. So I'm grateful for the chance that I have to do this show.
I know that there are at least 2 of the 6 people in the cast who I've heard them say in other talkbacks or whatever, that they're playing one of their dream roles in this show. So that's really fulfilling for me to know that there are 2 people at least in this cast who are just like,
I'm definitely
that they're having that experience is just like a person. Like it's not I didn't do that, but I just, every night I watch the show, I know that, and it just makes it so fulfilling.
It's been really lovely to hear some of the responses and reactions to the diversity of the casting and what that does for certain members feeling like they see representation on the stage that they haven't seen, especially in this piece before, and like how much that moved them and gave them different resonances that they hadn't before for this piece. And I thought that was wonderful. And just hearing some of the other comments on people that feel that like they see themselves represented on stage in a respectful way, but also dealing with the struggles they have. So yeah, it's been lovely.
Thank you so much for your time and happy opening coming up. Enjoy your last couple rehearsals, and I can't wait to see you at opening.
If you're standing there, perfect for you.
Thanks, James. Wow. I wish I had some youthful language to express how excited I am for Next to Normal. Maybe our youth correspondent James can help us find the right lingo in our next segment. James?
It's a new year, and you know what that means. New ways to fit in with the Gen Z crowd. Here's what the kids are saying these days. Our first phrase is never misses. This term is used to describe a person who never fails to deliver on what they set out to do and often goes above and beyond. Here are some examples. The new Spider-Man movie is so freaking good. It's amazing how Marvel never misses. I can't wait to see Next to Normal. I just know it'll be good because the Chance Theater never misses. Our next term is bougie. This adjective describes a person or act that indicates a presence of greater wealth or higher living. This term originates from the French word for the social class, bourgeoisie. The new bougie ice cream shop offers gold flakes as a topping. They are so bougie. You know you're bougie when you can put your credit card down on a restaurant bill without looking at it. Finally, we have living rent-free in my head. We live in a free country, not a rent-free country, and this term refers to things that we can't get out of our head or things we'll likely never forget. The golden age of Disney Channel will never be surpassed. Wizards of Waverly Place lives rent-free in my head. The time I accidentally took a sip of someone else's drink at Starbucks lives rent-free in my head. And that wraps up some of what the kids are saying these days. I hope you'll learn something new, and if you'll excuse me, I need to go get some expensive ice cream.
Valentine's Day. A day where you celebrate the people in your life you love the most. For me, I will be celebrating someone special who has been with me through the really tough times in life. But for some, it can be a challenge to find someone out there, especially with the lingering realities of COVID. And if you're someone who needs a little extra guidance through this holiday of love, we have some sage advice in our next segment, Dear Darryl.
Dear Darryl, I would like to have a Valentine this year, but I just can't get close to people. Like, I literally can't get physically close to people because of social distancing. What should I do?
Dear Arm's Length Alicia, you can socially distance yourself from people, but you can't stay 6 feet away from your heart. Because you die.
That hits me. Right here. Yeah. And now for what's going on at the Chance.
Now through February 27th, see the groundbreaking smash hit musical that won the Pulitzer Prize and 3 Tony Awards during its acclaimed run on Broadway. With a thrilling contemporary score, Next to Normal takes you behind the proverbial white picket fence to discover a family coming to terms with their past, bravely fighting to face their future, and striving to take care of themselves and each other. This emotional powerhouse of a musical is authentic, humorous, and unflinching. It will leave you breathless and full of hope.
Join us for our first OTR staged reading in 2022, They Could Give No Name. In the southern border of Arizona, medical examiner Nellie Ramirez descends into near madness when her fiancé, a Border Patrol agent, accidentally kills a young immigrant girl. In order to save her future family, Nellie must make a decision that threatens to tear her life apart. Little does she know that soon the desert will come to collect what is due to it. This macabre, magical play takes an unsettling look at the complexities of identity, the cruelty of immigration, and the power behind a name.
We are humbled and honored by the OC Theater Guild and its voters for the overwhelming recognition Chance artists received for their marvelous work on the 4 shows we produced that were eligible: Fun Home, Edges, Yellowman, and Striking 12. We congratulate all of the nominees and are excited and honored to be included in the OC theater scene.
Our 24th anniversary season is underway, but it's not too late to provide critical support to the Chance while enjoying a full year of boundary-breaking musicals and OC premieres of acclaimed plays by celebrated playwrights. For thrilling, intimate theater, don't risk it, chance it. For more information about our shows and what we do, visit www.chancetheater.com or call us at 888-455-4212.
And most importantly, we want to hear from you, OC. Send us your good news, stories, pictures, videos. Send them our way. Email us at goodnews@chancetheater.com and help us highlight local heroes and moments of joy.
For SGNOC, I'm Laura M. Hathaway.
And I'm Matt Takahashi. Until next time, stay citrus, Orange County. Right. There's a great idea with the dramatic reenactment thing, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that it'll really spice up the episode and make it more interesting.
Season 3.
Yeah, season 3.
Yeah, change it up.
Yeah. You know what? I wonder if we could use the dramatic reenactment to make our lives more interesting and dramatic. I wonder what that would be like.